that there's like one common cause, and like that's what people need to be there for. I just think the language of 1%, 99% is so... First of all, it's a binary. But the 99% encompasses a huge, huge multitude of people and identities and all kinds of different backgrounds. And so it's still like that us-them kind of dialogue. And so this idea that if I'm part of the 99% and you're part of the 99%, we're the same person and we both want the same things, and I have as much authority to say what you need and what you want because we're all part of the 99%. That's not true. Like, I don't know. I think since people aren't really talking about why they're there, everyone's kind of assuming that, well, everyone's here because for the same reasons that I'm here, and that's not true. Like, I mean, that's happening.
I think the GA process can be tweaked. As we went into setting up the GAs and being familiarizing ourselves with GA, we went into it with understanding that it could be fluid enough to make amendments as needed, because what's good for New York and Oregon or Oakland may not be what we need to do to get our business in direction going in the way it needs to go.
Right.
So I think a lot of people have been trapped with the process, and they're letting the process dictate and overrule logic and decision making. Like, you know what I'm saying? If certain reason, if I, Shakur, feel like your point is something that's going to conflict with ours, I've noticed that certain people will use the process of the GA of however to redirect the conversation or sounding somebody or make it seem like that's something we need to put on the back burner when it's already been hashed out and talked about, but they use a process of whatever we use to take away from that, and I think that's not the way we need to. We need not to jump out the frying pan into the fire. Because when we walking away saying we were horizontal, we don't want to mimic the hierarchy of the greater society, and we don't want to be controlled and ruled and where everybody don't get what they need, then if we enslave ourselves to a process that does the same thing, we got to be mindful and careful that we don't allow that to be there. We keep it fluid enough that we amend it and let it morph into something that everybody can be at the table and get what they need and put out what they need without being, you know, sidestepped or overlooked or marginalized. So I think it can be better. It can be better. I think as we go forward, there have to be some amendments to the process of GA, so it won't be that type of new type of entrapment of how we make decisions and how we go forward, because it has been like that to a degree.
Like, a lot of people left because of marginalization. Like, it's just kind of shitty.
Bringing the most marginalized groups to the board and it inherently helping everyone else, because you're focusing on the people that are in the most need or need to come to the center and be cared for and centralized for a while, and just really like giving them the infrastructure or allowing them to be cared for and the time to give them infrastructure to build a community kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe about a month ago, it was at the amphitheater behind Tibbs. One of my friends got up during Soapbox after the General Assembly and was talking about the marginalization that people just were ignoring and why people were leaving, and he called people out on it. And a lot of people got really upset. And this one guy, he got up in Stack, and he said, just because you're feeling oppressed doesn't mean that you're actually oppressed. I left
the dialogue, that like acknowledgement of mistakes or acknowledgement of inequities within like a progressive movement, I think makes things move a lot quicker instead of being in denial. which is like an issue I see in the Occupy movement.
How are people in denial?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of negatives. It's true, and people need to be aware of it.
Right.
Because Occupy Richmond is trying to cover it up and be like, no, this isn't happening. But now, finally, they're doing shit. Like, this weekend, there are like 3 or 4 different workshops and speeches about privilege and oppression and stuff to try to help with that.